off, 110.
Did you hear what he said?
No.
Something big time.
Something's
I think
off.
they said, yeah, maybe to pit lane. It's hard to tell what he said. A little bit of breakup there. The hills here and all the trees make radio communication very difficult. Indeed, he's still a pretty good song, but I can't tell if he's... This could be Dyson's only shot. Klaus Graf on the pole right now, trying to hold down that pole position. Does he stay out?
Yep.
Well, he tipped it. Let's see what this lap is. It was a 106 or 107.6 last time by. Dyson out again, a 108.6 that time, so considerably slow.
Well, they slowed him up. When they were talking on the radio,
car was on the pole at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, so finding a setup for an undulating racetrack that's high speed, they certainly have one if you're going to qualify on the pole there.
They can see a projected lap time, and if he was way off on time, and we didn't hear that whole conversation, so I'm not saying that's what it was, but they could have told him to check up and try again.
Into Moss Corner. Heavy braking, down yet another gear. Missed the apex there. Yeah. Onto the back straightaway.
Looks like the car's got a fair amount of understeer in it. That could be the tires not being too happy right now.
Right now, Klaus Graf, and a red flag on the session.
And there's the reason right there, the 12 car
That is the 12 car. Johnny Mullen behind the wheel. Remember how well the Autocon entry ran at Road America, led a bunch of laps. And this could be the nail in the coffin for Chris Dyson in his attempt at the pole. Just 3 minutes left in this session, the red flag out. So Klaus Graf with the fastest lap time right now, and if Graf able to hold on to that, it would be the number 6 Muscle Milk Team Cytosport's first pole position of 2010.
Well, we're hearing right now that the red flag's out, so everybody's going to come in. The reason for the stoppage on the 12, we just heard over the radio, it's out of gas.
So pushing it hard to see if they could get there. They had a fuel leak in the fuel cell. Remember, they run the E85. Hear the crew saying, good job, Chris. Right now we're second. We're on the front row. It's a good place to start. But they had a fuel leak on the 12. The E85 a little bit more caustic than regular gasoline, let's say. And so you've got to make sure that you run regular gasoline through the entire fuel system, through the motor at the end of the day and stuff. And any that's left in there can certainly eat at it. I talked to Michael Lewis, and he said, we've been very religious about doing that. But still, whenever you run that fuel, you set yourself up to have potential issues like that. So they had the fuel cell out yesterday, repairing that.
And that is not an easy thing. To get a fuel cell out of one of these cars, it's buried behind the driver's seat in front of the engine, so you have to disassemble the entire back of the car, then get into the monocoque itself or the carbon fiber and get into where that fuel cell is. Of course, that's had fuel in it. It's bigger than the hole it was put in, so now you have to shrink it down to the size that you can get it back out of there, which is no small feat in its own right. And lots of different ways of trying to do that. Most of them are pretty funny.
Trying to get a big old pillow into a real tight pillowcase is what it's like, trying to get it in there.
Talcum powder. They're talking about WD-40. They're talking about, they talk about things that we can't talk about even on the internet.
Right now, Klaus Graf, I don't know if he has any more flags that he could be waving right now. Klaus Graf on the pole, 106.9. That would be the first pole position for the year for the Muscle Milk Team Cytosport team. 3 other times they qualified second. Twice it was on the front row. They qualified second at Sebring, but that was a little further back in the pack. But I'm sure that they are celebrating down there their first pole, Jamie.